So first, we will discuss the Convention on Biodiversity. It all started on June 12, 1992. The Philippines ratified the Convention on Biological Diversity, and on October 8, 1993, it became a party. In the Philippines, it was one of the 31 countries to ratify the convention in 1993. According to the World Resources Institute, the Philippines has initiated various efforts to conserve the national biodiversity over the past 5 to 10 years. Yet, the effort is more like a rescue mission to the remaining natural habitats than comprehensive biodiversity planning. The effort to develop a biodiversity plan began in 1988. It was the same year when the Integrated Protected Area System was established in the Philippines. And finally, on 1998, the Philippines submitted its first National Biodiversity Strategy and Action Plan.
National Integrated Protected Area Systems, or NIPAS, is classification and administration of all designated protected areas to maintain essential ecological processes and life support systems, and to preserve genetic diversity, to ensure sustainable use of resources found therein, and to maintain their natural conditions to the greatest extent possible. For the categories, the following categories of protected areas are hereby established: A. Strict Nature Reserve, B. Nature Park, C. Natural Monument, D. Wildlife Sanctuary, E. Protected Landscapes and Seascapes, F. Resource Reserve, G. Natural Biotic Areas, and H. Other categories established by law, conventions, or international agreements which the Philippine government is signatory. For the NIPAS policy, Section 2, establishment of comprehensive system of integrated protected areas for the Filipino people of present and future generations, and to ensure the perpetual existence of all the native plants and animals within the classification of national park as provided for in the Constitution.
The basic principles of NIPAS are: the first is conservation of biological diversity, second is sustainable development. Under the Section 4 protected areas are: first is identified portions of land and water. The second is set aside by reason of their unique physical and biological significance. The third is managed to enhance biological diversity, and the fourth is protected areas destructive human exploitation.
Categories of management zones. So there are three categories of management zones. First, the strict protection zone, whereas the protected area will be close to all human activities except with scientific studies and or ceremonial or religious activities with the ICCs or the IPs, the indigenous cultural communities or the indigenous people. So all sort of human activities will be prohibited to be held in the protected area except with those said circumstances. So second is the multiple use zone. The settlement, the traditional and sustainable land use that includes agricultural, agroforestry, and other income generating or livelihood activities will be allowed to be held in the protected area with the consistent with the protected areas management plan. And the last one, the buffer zone. So the establishment of the peripheral zone to protect the protected area from activities that will directly or indirectly harm it. So such activities like illegal logging, illegal mining. So the establishment of the buffer zone will prohibit them from entering in the protected area. Then the administration and management. So the NIPAS, or the National Integrated Protected Area System, is under the control and administration of the DNR. So they are the one who will organize and facilitate the said system. So they are also the one who will cite uh, level policy making, um, management plans to be implemented in the protected area. Also, the implementation of the management plan and operations of the protected area, and also enforcement. Then the DNR secretary is empowered to deputize all field officers and delegate his powers under the law on the National Integrated Protected Area System and other laws to expedite its implementation and enforcement.
Section 20 of prohibited acts, except as may be allowed by the nature of their categories and pursuant to rules and regulations governing the same, the following acts are prohibited within protected areas. A. Hunting, destroying, disturbing, or mere possession of any plants or animals or products derived therefrom without a permit from the Management Board. B. Dumping of any waste products detrimental to protected areas or to the plants or animals or inhabitants therein. C. Use of any motorized equipment without a permit from a management board. D. Mutilating, defacing, or destroying objects of natural beauty or object of interest to cultural communities. E. Damaging and leaving roads and trails in a damaged condition. F. Squatting, mineralocating, otherwise occupying any land. G. Constructing or maintaining any kind of structure, fence, or enclosure, conducting any business enterprises without a permit. H. Living in exposed unsanitary condition, refuse or debris or depositing in ground or in bodies of water. And I. Altering, removing, or defacing boundaries, marks, or signs.
For under Section 21 penalties, fine of not less than 5,000 nor more than 500,000 exclusive of the value of the thing damaged, or imprisonment for not less than 1 year but not more than 6 years, or both, as determined by the court. If the area requires rehabilitation or restoration, as determined by the court, the offender shall also be required to restore or compensate for the restoration to the damage. Shall also order eviction of the offender from the land, forfeiture in favor of the government of all minerals, timber, or any species collected or removed, including all equipment, devices, and firearms used in connection therewith, and any construction or improvement made therein by the offender. If the offender is an association or corporation, the president or manager shall be responsible for the act of his employees, laborers, and the DENR may impose administrative fines and penalties consistent with the act.